what's up, y'all? It's your boy Ben Bullock, aka Ben Bulljive. I want to thank y'all for joining me for the first time ever. I'm giving y'all an inside look as to how I can do a video feature. So recently I put together an alumni feature for my job, which is DeSoto Independent School District. And we did a feature on LilJuMadeDaBeat, aka Julian Mason. Now he's a hip hop producer. He's produced for Beyonce, Juicy J, 2 Chainz, Lil Durk, Lil Baby, a whole bunch of other people, and he's one of the best in the game. He's also multi-platinum. He's also won a Grammy Award this past February. So it was a very good feature, and it's probably one of my best. Now here's the thing, I only shot the interview process. I didn't shoot any of the B-roll, I didn't shoot anything else, I didn't shoot any of the photos. So I had to get very creative and had to use a lot of ingenuity in terms of how to make this thing come together. So I put this video on my Instagram page. Y'all can go check it out. Y'all can check my tag name right below right here and go see it for yourself. And then what I did once I posted it to my story as well, I put a poll asking people would they be interested in seeing how I did it, because it was a lot of intricacies for me to help this video come together. So here's the first time I'm doing it. Y'all stay tuned. Let's buckle up. Here we go. All right, y'all, so let's hop into this thing, man. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let the video play out, and I'm just gonna talk over it and just kind of give y'all a brief synopsis of how this video came together and some of the other things that I did, and then we'll run it back, and then I'll break down portions of the video, what kind of overlays and color correction, that kind of stuff and also the shots that I use and everything to help this video come together. So let's run through it. So yeah, so LilJuMadeDaBeat, man, aka Julian Mason, great guy, man, one of the top hip hop producers out right now. He's produced for a lot of great people, man. Some of my favorite artists, more in particular Juicy J. But what he's done to really put him on the map was to work with Megan Thee Stallion. You know, he's the curator of the Hot Girl sound, as you see right here. He's a Grammy Award-winning producer. He produced the Renaissance record for Beyonce. But as I was talking about with Megan, he created the lot of her sound, and it's kind of what put her on to make her a platinum producer. And then, as you can see, man, he's worked with a lot of people, man. Lil Durk, you know, Juicy J, like I said earlier, 2 Chainz, a lot of the people. So yeah, man, Julian is from DeSoto, Texas. You know, he's been through the school district, DeSoto ISD, and he's done this thing, man. I think he was in the band when he was younger and all that kind of stuff. And I like what this part about the video is. He's talking about the grind of beat. So for those who went high school or middle school during that time, this beat dropped, which I believe in 2001 or 2002. That was a real good time for hip hop, man, because everybody was doing that thing. So, you know, the feel for this video I wanted to go with was kind of like a Vlad TV style interview. And as you can see throughout the video, as y'all watching it through, that's kind of what I was going for, and it came out good. And I wanted to really have this video take part in a recording studio. So luckily I reached out to my man Sherrod Cox, who's a musician here in Dallas. He put me on with somebody who has their own recording studio in Duncanville, Texas, which isn't too far from DeSoto, and it's one of the suburbs of Southwest Dallas. And you know, it really came together, man. The studio was dope. What I'd like to have done, though, I would like to have, instead of y'all see the computer screen in the back, I would like to have like a beat making application or program come up. But throughout the video, you'll see like the screen kept cutting on and off, and right now, as y'all saw right there, it was on his YouTube page. So yeah, man, it really came together originally. We actually shot this video in January. I think it was that Saturday of MLK weekend. It was supposed to be put out later that week, or a couple weeks later for National DJ Day, because I thought it was a good idea to do an alumni feature on somebody like Julian. And it, you know, it hit, man. But unfortunately, we had to postpone it because I had some other things to take care of, you know, with the school, and had to kind of postpone it until June and just kind of let it run as an alumni piece for the summer, because, you know, things slowed down during the school district and not much content. And, you know, glad that we got this way. We stashed it in the can, and then we was able to make something happen. So yeah, man. But Julian definitely did a good job of, you know, providing me with some elements. Now, as I mentioned before, you know, I didn't shoot anything other than the interview, which lasted 30 minutes. So I had to scale that thing down to about 4 minutes. So that's for all the editors and creators out there who cut interviews for a living. You already know what I'm talking about. So yeah, so man, like I said, Julian did his thing, and then a lot of the B-roll that you see actually came from a Genius feature that they did on him about one of the beats he did with Megan, and I was able to pull that. Now, I did reach out to his manager, shout out to Cam. He put me on with the producer who worked with Genius at the time, see if I can actually, see if they can send me some stuff instead of me just ripping it from YouTube. but they didn't, I wish I was the person, but she got back to me, so she's not even employed by Genius anymore. She works with Rolling Stones. So I said, forget it, man. I'm about to just pull this thing from YouTube, and I was able to do some really good stuff, and they had a lot of good things. I couldn't use a lot of this stuff. If you go back and watch the full interview from Genius, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'll drop that in the comment section or whatever. So yeah, man, and then a lot of the photos that you see, Drew hooked me up. I took a couple photos at his house, from his mom who sent it to me. And then some of the other photos that you saw came from his Instagram page. So as this video winds down, man, as you see, we're gonna run it back, and then we'll go through the whole video once again and give you from an editor perspective how I did it. So stay tuned, give me 1 second. All right, so first off, as we get started, so this first thing, I just wanted him to come on and just say his name and really just introduce himself, but I wanted him to look straight at the camera like he's talking to the viewers. So what you did, I thought it came out good. It's kind of set the tone a little bit. And as we go to it right here, we'll stop. Obviously, you see the text. I wanted to have the text match up to his beat tag, and in the background, you see a little dust and scratch kind of like overlay to kind of give a little creative feel coming in. And the feel for the video, I wanted it more urban, more hip hop style, kind of like what Complex does and Vice TV, what they do. I kind of wanted to kind of mirror what they did, and that's honestly how I mirror a lot of my stuff, especially when it comes to features. But with this one, I really wanted to put my my touch on it with a really cool, creative, funky, hip hop, urban kind of feel, and it came out good, man. So as we keep rolling, this opener right here, I actually used this throughout the entire video, as you saw throughout the first time. I actually found this this opener on Envato Elements. Really good website for, you know, stock footage, royalty-free music, and you know, graphics, lower thirds, and these kind of openers, and a whole bunch of other stuff, man. So you guys on there, it's very similar to Motion Array. They do a lot of cool stuff, man. So to give your videos and your all that kind of stuff, an extra kick that you need. So I typed it in the search bar, found a couple of ones I was interested in, found this one in, man, and I think it worked out good, as you can see, with the, you know, the lime green background. The text kind of pops a lot. The B-roll shots, I just kind of dropped that in there, as you can see right here. Excuse me, and this, the nested sequence, as I pull this up, this is the B-roll right here, what I use. So I just kind of cut it up. Had it match, or cropped it up, I should say, kind of matched like what it'd fit in that screen. So yeah, so that's how the B-roll looks. And if I get out of this window, you'll see, boom, right there. So yeah, so we keep rolling, go to another one, same kind of deal right here. I just dropped it in right here within the sequence, the scene 2 sequence, and grab these 2 photos from his Instagram page. So also, if you're a content creator, or if you're a public speaker, or do all that kind of stuff that requires you, you know, to be at speaking engagements, all that kind of stuff, please post good content to your face, so people like myself, you know, editors, were able to, you know, use this kind of stuff in our videos, so we're not scrambling around trying to find it, okay? So as we keep rolling, there's another video. Now this is the footage that I didn't shoot. This is the one that came from that Genius feature. You know what I mean? They had a lot of good stuff that I could use. So what I did is I just kind of duplicated this B-roll shot, just made one bigger, one smaller, dropped the saturation down to make it black and white, and kept that one. Then I used these little quotes, this is stuff he said throughout the video to kind of keep people interested, and then I have his name right here. So as we go through it, so this little transition point, you know, instead of like a white flash or dissolve, this kind of serves the same purpose, and it's really cool. I can, I forgot where I downloaded this from, but I can find a link for it, and y'all can check it out too. So as we continue on, just make the timeline a little bit bigger. So this is the lower third right here. So I found this actually also on Envato too. I was looking for a non-traditional lower third graphic to kind of animate on, and I thought it was pretty good. And what it is kind of like a newspaper thing. You see that at the beginning. I'll keep rolling. This kind of newspaper was right there, and then it comes up with his name. So I thought that fit, even though it's not relatable in terms of the opener, but I think it still plays a role in making sure that it kind of fits that creative feel and that feel I was going for. So also, man, this was a 2-camera interview I did. So you got camera 1, this right here, and then this, I'm sorry, this camera 1, this is camera 2. They both were Sony A7 IIIs. They both had, I've used the Sigma 24-70 2.8 lens. Those are my go-to lenses for anything that I do, everyday thing, photo and video. So I prefer them. It's a little cheaper than the Sony G Master. So if you're able to get those, honestly doesn't make a difference, you know what I mean? So I think I used a softbox light for it that they had available in the recording studio, and it worked out good, man. So as we keep rolling everything, and then so let's break down these shots right here. So these 2 shots I grabbed from his Instagram page. This is that night he was at the Grammy. So, and like I said, we shot this in January, early this year in 2023, and the Grammys were in February the following month. So like I said, we had to postpone it because we couldn't get it together and flush it out. So luckily he had posted this and I had dropped it in there to let people know he actually won the Grammy. So that's kind of like a little inside nugget on that kind of thing. So as we keep rolling, we're back to the regular shoot, regular shots, the interview shots. And now this picture of Megan was clutch because Megan likes to show a lot of skin. And luckily this kind of fit right the mold for what I wanted to, because it's a school district, can't really show a lot. It gotta be, you know, appropriate, that kind of thing. So I found that and it worked out good, and I dropped a little glitch background on it and a little lower third. So yeah, so just real simple, man. Stuff that I've seen that Complex does. They do these kind of things when they do like those sneaker shopping stuff, those kind of features. That's kind of what I was kind of going for. It looked good, it looked good. So we rolling and all that. So did the same thing, dropped a glitch background now. You see the text kind of matches beat tag, and just kind of explain what else is going on back here. Now you see Megan in the back. So I pulled this video of a little shoot she did. She did a freestyle, and like I said, I wanted to kind of keep her, you know, covered up, that kind of stuff, make it appropriate, you know, for school district content. And it worked out good, man. So just kind of give you a little bit, and you see I'm kind of going in and out, and you see these little cuts right here. All I did was just scale the video frames down to make it work. So as we keep rolling, I'm gonna bring this timeline back up. Also, you saw I did the same thing with the text, you know, and kind of match the tag, you know, that kind of thing. And look, and then I'll go through, he drops the names, and see how I matched up his, what he was saying when he dropped the rappers' names. So that's a photo right there, and then you see it's an overlay that I did the photos with. I didn't want to make this video boring or dry, so you see the overlays I dropped in, it's more rectangular, or like a lot of little film script thing or whatever, and it worked out good, man. And I also did the lower third, and the first one with Lil Baby, you see it's rectangular because that's the photo I found on YouTube. Make sure whenever you look for photos, it's high res, 1920 by 1080. This is kind of a little different though, because I grabbed this from his Instagram page. So cell phone quality isn't always great. It's good, but sometimes it's not really great. This is solid, so this works. And you see how I use the overlay, the square overlay right here again. So well, that time, and then I go back. I go forward to Juicy J's right here, and that's rectangular, similar to the one I did for Lil Baby, and the same thing with Lil Durk that we did for 2 Chainz. So the same thing, man. Just kind of switch it up, and you know, not try to, I know a lot of people, when they do drop photos in there, they'll blur the background and just put the regular image on top of that. I didn't want to do that. It's kind of dry, and I kind of want to keep that creative feel rolling. As we rolling, we get done with the first scene. So this right here, this is kind of, like I said, this is like a kind of like chapter 2, kind of like switch up the scene, and you hear I also switched up the music. So my tip: never use the same audio track, music track throughout the whole video. I like to switch it up to kind of keeps the video moving, and it's not the same kind of feeling that you have throughout the entire video. So I learned that tip maybe about 5-6 years ago, and it really changed the direction of how I cut video, especially when it comes to feature packages like this. So luckily Ju had this photo right here on his Instagram page. That's him with some headphones on and some vinyl records and a big old school speaker. And yeah, so this worked good. And then too, you know, he's talking about, for those hip hop heads, you recognize the beat. And I mentioned to him in the interview process, I was like, hey man, you know, and it was a follow-up question. I was like, hey, you know about you the guy that, you know, you always make the beats people freestyle over in high school while they in lunch, or, you know, everybody got a substitute teacher or something like that. And he said, yeah, I was that dude, man. So he kind of explains like what, you know, kind of went into him being a grinder beat dude. And he's talking about that. So luckily I was able to find a instrumental on YouTube, ripped that and just dropped it in there, man. So my bad for real. And the rest of the Neptune's crew, man, I had to rip it, and my bad to the Clips, but hey man, we had to make the video come together as best we could. Also, let me pause it for 1 second. As y'all saw earlier in the video, let me run it back a little bit. As y'all see right here, you see, that's his YouTube page right there, okay? So if you go forward, it's a screensaver. So unfortunately, like I said, you know, the owner of the studio, he was kind of in and out, so I didn't have the password. So that's one thing I could change about this video if we could, if, you know, we could have just pulled up, like I said, a beat making application or program, would have just had that up the whole time, and just kind of turned off the screensaver. So just little stuff like that, man. I know it's very distracting, but that's one thing I wish I could change. So we're gonna keep this thing rolling, man. So we're going to chapter, oh, I forget, chapter 3, I think. Yeah, this is chapter 3. This is Drew right there. He sent this to me. I asked if he had any photos of him in high school. Looks like he's dressed up as Michael. You know, had those superlative days, you know, in high school on homecoming week. I think he's dressed like a celebrity. He's dressed up as Michael Jackson right here. So he graduated 2010 from DeSoto High School. So then he sent me this. I found this photo on his Instagram page. That's him. I think that's his mama holding him. I think his little sister or his cousin next to him. And see, I did a glitch background as well. You know what I mean? I use this throughout the video, which is fine. You know what I mean? Like I said, give that creative look. You know what I mean? And then he sent me this right here, some of his high school guys right here. And this portion is talking about his time throughout the DeSoto Independent School District, starting from when he was in, you know, elementary school, middle school, and working his way all the way up through high school. So that photo right there that you just saw, I'll run it back, was him. Looks like he's holding a BlackBerry, which is wild. So he sent that to me. So shout out to, you know, Drew's Facebook page. He said he grabbed a lot of this stuff off there. So shout out to you, man. Thank you for, you know, going through that, finding all that kind of stuff. So as we rolling through this thing, he's breaking it down again and kind of talking about now going to the process of college, which is an interesting, probably the most interesting part of this entire interview. Now, I'm gonna break down this part. So he's talking about the University of Houston. So as soon as he said University of Houston, boom, I found a drone shot off of Envato. That's why y'all gotta invest in Envato, from the University of Houston. And it was perfect the way and I'm glad it worked out the way it did. So you see how I had that lower third come up, but also see how I speed ramped that thing. So I sped it up at first and then slowed down right there to kind of give you a visual on top of the lower third. Just little stuff like that really makes your video come together. So as we keep rolling, you know, Drew's talking about, you know, how he doesn't like college, drops out, kind of goes back home. Wasn't really feeling it, man. So, but he kind of gets to the point where, you know, he's saying that, you know, beat making is this thing, but it's only gonna work in Houston. Back to what I was saying about my point about the drone shot and the hitting it as soon as he said Houston, because it gives the viewer a visual of the city. And I found this drone shot on Envato as well. So you see it's rolling, let me roll it, and boom, it's a dope shot of the city. You know what I mean? And this is great because he specifically said this beat thing won't work out for him in Dallas, but then he says, but Houston is for me, and boom, that's perfect. I mean, the timing couldn't be more impeccable right there. So as we roll into the next chapter, he's talking about his time going to junior college after leaving University of Houston. So this shot right here is a shot of like a little mixer or whatever, and I found that on Envato too. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying, I really had to get really creative in terms of how I can make this thing happen. And I didn't have no shots of no soundboards or nothing like that. So luckily I typed that in on Envato and boom, that's what came up and I was able to make it work. So as you can see, I use the text for beat mixing. It goes from here to here. Drew literally said from here to here in the video. If I roll it, let's see what he says. Yeah, so actually this shot right here, I actually had that already in my library. Cedar Valley College, which is a junior college in Lancaster, Texas, another suburb here out here in Dallas. And we did a previous story on this early this school year. And I was like, boom, luckily I got this shot of this. So I found it and I dropped it in there. So sometimes you just get lucky, you know what I mean? So he's talking about this and, you know, kind of breaking that down. And no, he does a good job, man, kind of telling the story and all that kind of stuff. And here's another shot from that Genius feature package. You know, I thought it was a good shot. Him on the mouse. You see the little soundboard in the back, big old studio, got his laptop right there. That's him vibing in the studio, that kind of thing. So, you know, that came out good. And you see I used the little overlay too to help it make it come together. Now, the reason why I did the overlay, you see that? Boom, that big old bug. And how you get rid of that? Boom, that easy. just like that. So that's a little trick, you know what I mean? For those who just want to kind of finesse a little bit. So as we keep rolling, man, Ju's just kind of going through his thing. And that part right there, see, that's one thing. See, I didn't shoot in autofocus. So like kind of, see, when he gets animated, it's right there, it kind of gets a little out of focus and then he goes back into focus. I wasn't really, I mean, I probably could have been on it, but when you're in an interview, you ain't really worried about your focus technique. You just kind of just sitting there and just watching. But with him, I wish I could have did that. And I don't usually shoot autofocus in interviews because sometimes it might get a little off track. It might be focused on something else that actually happened to me before, and I had to reshoot the whole thing. So it happens, man. So yeah, so that's pretty much about it with that. And then we go into another shot when he gets back to Houston. You know what I mean? Another drone shot of Houston right here, then back to H-Town, use that text. And like I said, man, the opener, I actually used different parts of it to use throughout the video to help, you know, carry the video on. You know what I mean? So luckily, this is boy Joe he's talking about. I sent Drew a text like, hey, you have a picture of your boy Joe? And he's like, yeah, I do. And he sent me this. And this is really, ironically, it's just like maybe a week or so when they moved to moved to Houston together. So like I'm saying, everything just kind of worked out good, man. You just gotta figure out a way to make it happen. So shout out to Drew, man, for sending me that particular video. You know what I mean? As you see what's about to come up right now, another shot of Houston, man. Luckily, Envato had a ton of Houston shots, and then if you notice too, I used a lot of different angles, and it really worked out good. Yeah. So Drew moved around a lot during his interview, man. So I had to really make sure I was on my P's and Q's with that second angle. You know what I mean? And then, oh, I know there's a good part right here. So you see this, right? So this is my music track right here. You see this part, I really wanted the people to catch the essence of his laptop crashing when he first got to Houston. So to see how the music drops out and then it cuts, boom, right to the part. So you can see he looking at you saying, then my laptop crashes. So man, like I said, just from years of experience, you just know like when to say stuff, or I mean, not when to say, so when to cut the stuff and just really just capture the essence of the video. If that means to drop the audio so people can really understand like, hey, boom, oh, that's a serious subject right there. Like his laptop crashes after all he'd been through. And the reason why he was going to Houston was to make beats, and his laptop crashes. And he doesn't have the money to get it fixed. So it's just a lot of stuff going on for him. So yeah, man, like I said, this was a good interview. And yeah, Ju's just kind of breaking it down, as you can see, just kind of switch it back and forth between the cameras. And then right here, I go to this part. So you see the kind of like the dust background, dust and scratch background. And I just found just like this random, you know, shot of like some notebooks. Y'all know, y'all remember those notebooks. They very small laptops, wasn't no space on there, maybe like 2 gigs or something like that. It wasn't crazy. So the fact that he was able to make his first beat tape, that really put him on the map on this is really a blessing, man. So yeah, so shout out to him. So yeah, man, I found this on Google, looked for some stuff, couldn't really find anything that was legit. I was like, man, this seems pretty cool. So let's just roll with that. And then another part too, now, since we're talking about laptops and stuff, Genius had this part where he's opening his laptop at the actual studio right here. I think this is really what made it work, this whole part, because you see him opening it, and then I just cut to it right away. And then the timing is critical when you use B-roll and these kind of things, because you want to make sure it matches what he's saying. You can't just be throwing random stuff in there. All right, so as we keep it rolling, I mean, this is a phenomenal shot, phenomenal timing. So shout out to Genius again, whoever cut that. He's kind of breaking it down right here and that kind of thing. So as we kind of wrap this up, and then music fade out. Notice right here, I always fade the music out before we get to the next section. Just kind of, you know, just kind of make sure it's a clean stoppage and a clean break, and before we go to the next part. So, all right, y'all. So as we move to the last scene, let's stop it right here. Just grab this photo right here from Ju's Instagram page. That's his family here in DeSoto. This photo right here I grabbed from his Instagram page as well. I thought it was very creative in terms of how he's like positioned and everything, kind of looking, kind of make it looking from up to down kind of thing. So you got I think the mic, the Jordan, the 16s on, I think, or something like that. But yeah, man, I think it's pretty dope. It looks like a 90s kind of MTV style kind of photo shoot a little bit. So just pretty basic, man. I thought it was pretty cool based on what I saw. So as you can see, I got the quote again right here. That's something he said in this part of the video. And then like a generic, you know, never give up kind of thing. That's kind of what this scene is all about. It's great to close it out. So you see that screen in the background again. Like I said, it was a mistake, but you know, can't do nothing about it now. As the video already put out, and see I'm kind of flipping in and out between camera angles right here again, just kind of help the video flow a little bit. Try not to stay on it too long. You know what I mean? And then we transition to this part right here. See him vibing in the studio. So again, shout out to Genius for those producers, whoever shot this, man. It came out really good and really helped my video come together. So yeah, I thought that was really cool in terms of see the movement, kind of using the wall as a kind of like a blocker a little bit, and then kind of panning and kind of coming around and see him. That was actually my favorite kind of shots that I use a lot in my videos as well. So as we keep rolling, go back to Ju right here. Now you see how he slouched down a little bit different than what he was right here. So but as you can see, this mark right here is a different part of the interview process. Just kind of had to chop it down. So as I mentioned before, this video, I think the full recording was like 30 minutes, and I had to chop it down to maybe a little over 4. So yeah, so I had to do a lot of chopping, but it still came out good though, as we keep rolling, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, so you know, the video came out good. Like I said, he slouched down right here. This is a very important part right here of the videos. Even though he slouched down, you see how I zoomed in and tightened up on the shot right here. Posted early in the video, you know, where he kind of scooted up real quick like that, and he was out of focus. But because I told y'all earlier, I don't shoot my interviews in autofocus, you know, I kind of repositioned my camera and kind of focused in, and it looks really good right there, man. You know, despite him being slouched down like that, but it's all good. Just gotta adjust to who we're interviewing, that kind of thing. And then this part right here, he's just kind of just, you know, letting Soto ISD students know like, hey, just keep pushing, keep doing your thing despite whatever that you might be going through. And kind of going back to this B-roll portion right here, and you seeing the mouse where he's kind of, you know, doing his little engineering, his beat making or whatever, and then coming back to that real close-up shot of him really focused in on the camera kind of thing. So that, like I said, that definitely a good shot, man, that the people over at Genius did. And then going back to him looking straight at the camera, and then going off of that side camera, and then we hit that transition, and then we close it out. So yeah, man, that's kind of how it turned out. All right, y'all, that's a wrap, man. Thank y'all for joining me for my first ever inside look into, you know, how I do my videos and how I did this particular feature, man. So shout out to LilJuMadeDaBeat, to Soto ISD, and everybody else who had a hand into making this thing happen, man. So if y'all want to see more of these videos, please let me know. This might be a trend or thing I can keep rolling on this YouTube channel, man. And make sure y'all give me a follow on my social media channels and everything like that. And make sure y'all comment, like, share, do whatever y'all need to do. And also I can share some more tips, man, if y'all open, man. So just let me know. Thanks again, man. I really appreciate y'all.